Hey, what's up? This is Mark Brown from Pocket Gamer giving you a first look at a new game that's coming out tomorrow called Monsters Ate My Birthday Cake, which is not to be confused with Monsters Ate My Condo or Zombies Ate My Neighbours or anything like that. It's a puzzle game, but it's wrapped up in this slightly sort of more deep and engaging kind of Zelda-style world with secrets and side quests and things to find. Especially in this section that you're watching right now, it really does look definitely, more like a Final Fantasy or something. But really, once you get into the game, you'll see that it's actually a puzzle game split into separate levels that you can sort of do in bite-sized bus ride chunks. As we go outside, you'll see, So to move about our little character, we drag our finger on the screen, and that helps us get around. And it does a cool thing where the camera kind of zooms out as you're dragging your finger, so you can make a long path around the level and sort of watch Nico do the whole thing. I thought the controls in general work pretty well. Sometimes can get a little bit fiddly and a little bit finicky, especially on some of the levels where you're being timed and having to make precise movements with this thing under a time limit is quite tricky. Anyway, so this game is developed by a company called, or a small developer called Sleep Ninja, and it was on Kickstarter, and it got the attention of Cartoon Network of Adventure Time fame, who decided to pick it up and publish it on PC, Mac, and first of all, iOS. So that's nice, and that's kind of why we got interested in it and wrote about it a little earlier in the year. So let's just go through this little town bit, and we'll skip ahead to one of the actual puzzles so you can see what the game really looks like. But this is a town you're going to keep coming back to time and time again to solve little puzzles. But enough of this. Let's jump to the world map and Gogopo Island, and we'll go to this place. Now it turns into something a little bit more familiar, something that looks like Icebreaker or something. And then we're onto these separate, enclosed levels. So not so much like Zelda anymore. Our character Nico, his main power is to be able to push and pull blocks. So the idea of the game is that not all monsters are evil, some are nice, and you can sort of become allies with them, and they'll be your friends. And they'll help you out on levels, so they have different powers. So Nico's power is to move boxes, but other ones can freeze water, smash glass, and do all sorts of things. To finish the level, you just pick up the cake, and that's kind of it. Let's skip ahead a couple levels. Otherwise, this stuff's all kind of tutorial stuff. Let's go to level 3. And in this level, we're still just with Nico. But things, getting a little bit more complicated, showing us some things we've got to figure out with boxes. So to move boxes, you just walk next to them, you double tap the screen with your finger to start sort of latching onto the box, and then swipe left or right or up or down to move. On this level, we got to get, on every level there are birthday cake chunks to get. But there are other objectives. So this was actually the first time I played the game. Let's see. I'm like, okay, there's a key up there. Let's go get this key. So we went and got the key, and this is kind of an annoying thing that happened to me. So we got the key, and let's go all the way back. As you can see, look, the screen is kind of zooming out, so I can really trace my finger all along there, and then just watch Nico wander off on his own. Nico being the protagonist of Grand Theft Auto 4. This guy is not that. And then I'm like, right, let's get the cake, and then I'll open the treasure chest. So I got the cake, and that ended the level, and I didn't get to open the treasure chest, and it was very annoying. So a little sort of niggling thing like that you think would be picked up. So let's do it again. Let's just speed it up. So I did the whole thing again because I wanted to see what the hell was in that treasure chest. Careful, right, and it was some shoople fruit, which is just one of the sort of items that are based in these side quests and trading quests and whatnot that you get around the game. Some levels are not levels, or not puzzle levels, they're actually cutscenes. So in this one we're going to meet our first monster guy, our first monster ally, who is in this bush, and he is not a talking bush, it's him. Purple monster, Grognar. Grognar is our first ally in the game, and he can charge, which allows him to smash those tree trunks you see over on the left there, and he can beat up enemies. And also, if there are buttons that you stand on that are timing based, that they're going to stop, you press the button and then like 5 seconds later it'll pop back up again, you can use him to then rush off and get through the door or whatever. You know how puzzles work, you've played video games before. So different levels, they kind of have pre-selected monsters for each level. It's not like you're going to choose which creatures you take into each stage, because you need specific ones to meet specific goals. But something you can get later in the game is you can get sort of almost like palette swaps for these characters where they look different but they do the same thing. Let's skip ahead to a more difficult puzzle a bit later in the game, so you can see really how all these different characters work. We don't have Grognar anymore, but we've got this guy who is a little yellow sort of bat monster thing, and he can scream to smash that those glass you can see, that sort of ice stuff. But first of all, we need to get Nico to push this block, and I'm doing it wrong because I'm a moron, but like I said, the controls are a little bit finicky, especially for moving very small amounts. I don't know if it's just because I'm playing on the iPhone, and maybe it's better on the iPad, but yeah, for moving very small amounts, trying to trace your finger and then sort of make it recognise is very difficult. And also when you get two characters on the same place, same part of the screen, tapping a character changes control to them, but you're also trying to move your other characters. It gets a bit complicated. Anyway, so Nico's gone down there and he's got that. This guy can smash that glass with his scream. He can do it again. And let's change this bunny character who can go underground, which is very cool power. So now he can get that. He can go up here. He can. A nice thing is that Nico got the. Did Nico get the key? One of the guys got the key, but you don't need to. Whoever gets the key. Why am I not opening that treasure chest? I'm a moron. There we go. The key is sort of universal to all your characters, so it doesn't matter who's got the key. Just whoever's near the treasure chest can then open it. So this guy's cool. He can dig underground. Very handy. There's an enemy down there, which is going to make life a little bit more tricky. But classic video game puzzles. Another nice thing you can do is you can sort of get a character to start walking, like I did with Nico there, and then change to another character. This is just nice to be able to do, to just keep things fresh and sort of fast and nimble, but it's also very useful for the levels where you're judged on how fast you did the stage. I just killed that monster there. There's a coin, and let's get the cake, and that's it. So that's kind of a more difficult puzzle, and it gets really difficult throughout the game. Here's a shop. I'm going to buy a wiggly worm just to show you how some of the sort of side quest stuff works. So I've got this wiggly worm. We're going to go back to that intro village where we started the video several minutes ago, and there was some fishermen guys down at the docks who were talking about worms and wanted a worm, and now I've bought the worm, and that's the sort of thing you get where people say, I need this thing, I need 3 of these, 4 of these, and you go out and find them. And this is kind of the thing that I find the most interesting about this game, because the puzzles are nice. They're kind of repetitive a little bit if you play too many of them in one go, but they're well done. But just sort of seeing that graveyard you see up there on the top and being like, oh, how do I get in there? So these guys, they look like Waluigi and Wario. They also kind of look like the guys from the other brothers, but the references they make, they're sort of are very much based on Mario and Luigi, so despite the colours. Anyway, this is Monsters Ain't My Birthday Cake. I'll leave it there. It's a puzzle game. It's got side questy type Zelda stuff. It's very cute, pretty good fun, a little bit fiddly. We'll have a full review and more stuff on Pocket Gamer soon. Thanks, bye.